And we are back for the LineStar MLB DFS breakdown for Tuesday, May 30th. It was a long weekend. It was a good one. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all our videos. Helps us out a ton. It is really the whole reason we are able to give out free content and continue to do so. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're not already, join us on LineStar. It's $29.99 a month. If you don't want to pay that monthly and you want a little promo offer, try us out. You can get 2 to 6 months free if you sign up using our link with FanDuel, Thrive, or Underdog. Thank you, guys. Now let's get into it. All of the fun. We got 13 games, a lot of spots to talk about, and we'll just jump right into the ownership here. So we got Gallen leading the way, 10.7K, 41% owned versus the Rockies. Rockies outside of home generally don't hit that well. They have a decent K rate, almost 24%. Gallen has also been pretty good versus them, holding them to 220 average, 24% K rate in those 70 plate attempts. The issue I have here is combined K rate only 20%. Now, at Gallen's prices and how he just hasn't been totally locked in the last couple starts, I can't follow the ownership here. I think I may be going elsewhere. LineStar does have Gallen projected very high at 25 points. So if you want to go there, I mean, he's been a great pitcher all year. He is making a case for Cy Young here. He is good. I understand why you want to go there. That just might be one of my fades, though. Next, we got Lucas Giolito, 19%. The projection really isn't there to follow the ownership for us here, and it is not the greatest matchup versus the Angels. They do strike out 24% versus righties, though, with a combined K rate of 24%. My issue here is, one, his FIP, 4.83 over the last 5 starts. StatCast data doesn't look great. He's allowing a ton of fly balls. Not a ton of hard contact, at least, but you don't want to let a lot of fly balls versus Angels team. They are likely to hit one out. And the Angels splits versus righties are pretty good. They have a high WOBA, high ISO. I don't love the spot for Giolito. Next, we got Elder. It's against Oakland. It's all you really need to say. The one issue for me is that no, it's not really an issue. He just keeps outperforming his ERA. His FIP is much higher than his ERA, which suggests he's getting a little lucky. But he keeps doing it over and over again. The Braves team is a decent defense, so that could be why as well. Our projection on him is solid. Totally get it if you want to go there. Picking on the Yankees has been a profitable thing this year. Next, we got McClanahan, 11.4K, 18% owned. Now, he's one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball. So I think you got to like him, especially as a lefty versus the Cubs. They're striking out almost 29%. So we got a high of 27.6% K rate here. The one thing, the projection's not liking him quite as much as Gallen, who McClanahan is like 4 points under projection-wise. We got Joe Ryan, who has been an ace pretty much this season. He's in a decent spot here. 23% K rate for Houston. It is this Houston offense, though, with Altuve back. So I imagine that offense as a whole is going to be a little bit better for the rest of this season. Pretty hard for me to want to pay 11.1K to face Houston. Now, if we go a little further down to the low owned, I want to bring up Nestor Cortez. I actually think he is in a very good spot. He isn't as expensive as I think he probably should be. I think he has some nice K upside here. 26.5% K rate for, excuse me, for the Mariners versus lefties. So there is some nice upside at mid 8K price tag, 24.5% K rate, combined K rate. There's another pitcher. He hasn't been tremendous over his last five, 6.14 FIP, but his last five, literally versus some of the best offenses in the league: Texas, Oakland, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Baltimore. You take out Oakland there, everybody else, it's a murderous row of bats. So I wouldn't look too much into that FIP number there. He's a decent pitcher, has some K upside. I think his strikeout line today is 5.5K. I like that over, and I think you can play Cortez. It is versus a good offense in the Mariners, so they could get to him, but I think he's in a good spot. Logan Gilbert is next here versus the Yankees. He's been phenomenal. He's just been amazing this year. His K rate over his last five, 29%, 2.28 FIP. He's in a good spot. 24.5% combined K rate. So same combined K rate as Cortez, but Cortez is almost 2K cheaper. I like both those. If we keep going down here, I think you could go to Gonsolin. The one thing with him is the upside is slightly limited because he just doesn't have the huge strikeout stuff. 22% combined K rate. 20% combined K rate. His K rate is 22%. Washington doesn't strike out a ton either. And I got to bring up Bello. We keep talking to him about him every time he pitches. He's only still 7K. He's been extremely good lately versus some decent offenses too. And now he's going to get this Cincinnati Reds offense. It's not that good. 3.72 FIP over his last 20, 3.5 over his last 5 starts. His ERA last 5 is only 2.5, so he has been getting a little bit lucky here, but he's had some nice strikeout stuff, 24.6%. Now he's going to face this Reds offense, 24.6% strikeout rate versus righties. They have a decent WOBA, but a very low ISO. Frankly, for them to get to Boston, to get to Bello, they're going to have to dink and dunk and just put some singles together, which is very hard to do in the major leagues. So I kind of like Bello as your cheap option, low owned. And now let's get into some... let's do the FanDuel ownership here. Talked a little more about the pitchers than we normally do. So Gallen's coming in the highest. Kodai Senga coming in next. He started to turn around. He's figuring it out. We know he has some big K upside. The Phillies can strike out a lot. 24% K rate versus righties. However, they do hit righties very well. If Senga makes a couple mistakes, he could really pay. 2.89 FIP over his last 5, though. 30% K rate over that time. He's definitely figuring it out in the major leagues. And so I wouldn't sleep on him. I think he's in a fine spot. Nestor's next at 10%. McClanahan 8%. I'm probably going to stay in that area here for FanDuel. Owners or pitching, most likely on this, I would be going with Cortez. And now let's go to the stacks. All right, so our highest projected owned is the Atlanta Braves. Braves, great offense versus the Oakland A's, who their starting pitching is bad. Their relieving has been even worse. Sears has turned it on a little bit lately, but I just don't think that's going to stop them. With 13 games on the slate, the ownership's not that high. If you do want to go there, by all means, go there. Now, let's go to the highest projected. And we got Tampa Bay. We got Cincinnati. You know I kind of like Bello. Bello has got blown up in the past, so that is another spot that, it's pretty volatile. Cincinnati can get to Bello, absolutely, and they're cheap. So if you want to pay up for some pitching, that's likely the way to go. Tampa Bay, I mean, this offense is just the gift that keeps on giving, right? And Kyle Hendricks is up, who he hasn't been that great. He spent some time in the minors. He is back up. We don't really know what we're going to see from him. We don't know if he's made some changes here. But this Tampa Bay offense is awesome, and I would keep going to them, especially if they're coming in low-owned and a high projection. So you got to like that. Braves are up here also, and Dodgers. Dodgers, I think, are in a good spot. Jake Irvin, 6.93 FIP. So Dodgers can absolutely get to him. They also have some good splits, a lot of barrel balls. I think the Dodgers are in an interesting spot. There's also wind blowing out tonight in Dodger Stadium, which should help it a little bit. Angels are in a decent spot. Now let's go for some value. We got Minnesota. Minnesota is very interesting value-wise. I think you could also add in what isn't showing up in this is Royce Lewis, who my guess will be in the lineup, but we don't totally know yet. But he's a good prospect, hit a home run in his first game back into the MLB yesterday, and should be on it today. Houston's pitcher tonight isn't that great. 5.62 FIP over his last 5, 4.79 over the last 20. So I can see you going there. Oakland is always a case. Bryce Elder, like I did say, he may be getting a little lucky. So maybe there's some room, but he's been limiting runs very well. Milwaukee is one we got to bring up. Yusei Kikuchi. He can be a really good pitcher, but he can absolutely get bombed. So I think you got to consider taking Milwaukee with how cheap they are if you want to pay up for some bats here. So Milwaukee's in a good spot. And let's do ceiling. Oops. So ceiling, it looks like we have Tampa Bay popping up. Yankees, it is versus Gilbert. They could get to him. It isn't as likely if you're in a very large GPP. I think you can go to Yankees outside of being in a large GPP. I don't think you need to get there. Giants have been hitting pretty well lately. That Cardinals offense is turning it on, and it's against Zach Greinke. So I think you got to like the Cardinals today as well. All right, guys. I think that will do it for us today. I appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one. Good luck.